Welcome to Messages from the Universe with Laurie Wondra. Laurie is an internationally renowned psychic medium, author, and shamanic practitioner, sharing insights from angels, guides, wisdom keepers, and teachers of the universe that help you navigate life's mysteries and transformations.
Hello, I am Laurie Wondra, and thank you for listening. Let's talk about the moon today. Well, full moons are often talked about, and they can bring up emotional experiences, especially when we have to deal with them every month. You're probably hit the most, or the strongest energy hits us right around that full moon time. The day before, the day of, and certainly the day after. It's that 3-day period. However, the impact of full moons can last for about 2 weeks before and after the full moon, and this really starts after the previous new moon and lasts until the next new moon. This period can bring on what has in more recent times come to be called the full moon hangover. We're usually feeling the full moon hangover starting a few days before and for a week after the full moon. And I inquire, why are we feeling so much more energy impact from the full moon? Well, we are more aware of our emotions. Our emotions are that compass that's getting adjusted. So anything that is influencing our emotional field, we're just going to feel it a lot more. And depending on what the full moon is doing for you personally and what other astrological planets are impacting you, you may feel this energy longer. But in general, it's about a week and a half long. So what are full moons? Well, a full moon occurs when the transit or moving the sun and the moon come into exact opposition of one another in the zodiac sign. The sun represents the drive, the push, the growth, or the masculine energy, and the moon represents intuition, feeling, our emotions, and more of the feminine energy. On new moon, the skies are dark, and on full moon, the moon is at its pinnacle or its fullest and its brightest. Its brightness and energy are meant to illuminate what has been hidden in the darkness. In other words, what the universe wants us to see that maybe we don't want to see. And with the sun and moon at opposition, this puts our ego needs and desires, which is the sun, at odds with our emotional needs, which is the moon. Hence, this being a very highly emotional astrological event. Emotions run strong and they drive us, they inspire us, they certainly motivate us, but also can cloud our judgment and skew any logic. Full moons occur roughly every 4 weeks, and we experience 12 to 13 of them every year. The most emotional full moons are the ones usually in the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Now, full moons are a time to reap what you've sown, and you can make progress with what you've worked hard with and been smart about. And you may see some setbacks with what you have not been solely invested in or areas you need to change. Think of it as harvest time, and it's often used to harvest plants for sacred oils and in times of ceremony. It is believed the plants respond to the energy of the moon and release or open up more at this time, making blooms and harvest more bountiful as well as healthier for the plants. There's also a belief that moon phases influence your future hair growth and your appearance. So depending on our needs, we should cut our hair during a specific moon phase. Now, there's no scientific proof that this is real, but as we have nothing to lose by following these guidelines, we can try it and see if our hair starts to look better. Now, a new moon, in this phase, the moon is not visible because it's located between the earth and the sun. It's not advisable to get a haircut. This is not a period where haircuts can be recommended, as it is considered to be a moon phase which is damaging to the hair and where a weakening of the hair fibers and the potential of greater hair loss occurs. In first quarter, if you want your hair to grow much faster and gain strength, you need to cut your hair during the waxing moon phase. Example is when you see a half moon in the sky. It is an ideal period for cutting the tips of hair, getting rid of split ends and improving the capillary structure in general. And the full moon, well, the full moon is the perfect phase to undergo a considerable haircut. If your hair is too damaged, mistreated, brittle, or has a lifeless look at this time, it is the best time for makeover. To have a haircut during a full moon encourages it to grow with more health, abundance, brightness, and strength. And the last quarter, well, getting a haircut on the waning crescent lunar phase is probably the best choice for women who have a large amount of hair with so much volume that it may at times become annoying. By cutting hair on the crescent moon, it will grow slower and will maintain the shape of your hairstyle longer. There are even recommendations for when and when not to have surgery or undergo physical body treatments. This is not only dependent on the cycle of the moon that we are in, but also what astrology sign the moon is moving through. So an example is Aries rules the body parts that are the head, the brain, the eyes, the face, and muscles. Taurus rules the neck, the throat, the thyroid gland, the larynx, the chin, the lower jaw, ears, tongue, vocal cords, jugular vein, and tonsils. And Gemini rules the body parts that are your hands, your fingers, your arms and shoulders, your upper ribs, lungs, bronchial tracts, trachea, your thymus gland, your nerves, and your nervous system. And Cancer-ruled body parts are the breasts, the breastbone, the stomach, digestive system, lower ribs, womb, and pancreas. Now, the moon represents emotions. So, when the moon is moving through a water astrology sign such as Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, the emotional energy will be ramped up quite a bit. The full moon hangover is strongest with full moons in watery signs, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. But we can equally feel the push of energy of other astrological elements. So, for example, the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So if we have a full moon in any of those signs, we can feel more fiery. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, and the air signs are Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Let's peel that back a little bit. If we had a full moon under a fire sign, such as Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, well, this would be a good time for ignition, drive, get moving, or finish something. An earth sign such as Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, this might encourage us to lay low, rest, analyze details, or deep dive into some internal work. And the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And sometimes this might create some confusion for us, but it's a time for communication or greater creativity and ideas. And of course, the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, this is emotions. This is a time for processing, inward contemplation, learning about ourselves. Now, many people throughout history have found themselves drawn to the moon's mesmerizing glow and mysterious allure. I know I love gazing at a full moon. It's beautiful. But why exactly are we so captivated by the moon? Many different factors are at play, from the moon's association with inner guidance and intuition to its symbolism of light and working with light and shadow. But by connecting with the moon and its powerful energy, we can tap into our spiritual wisdom and find a deeper sense of purpose and meaning of our lives. Inner guidance and intuition. One of the most common reasons people are drawn to the moon is its association with inner guidance and intuition. The moon is often seen as a symbol of our subconscious mind, which holds our deepest thoughts and feelings. We can tap into our innermost wisdom, our intuition, by connecting with the moon's energy. Connection to the divine feminine. The moon is also closely associated with the divine feminine energy, which represents nurturing and creativity aspects of the universe. And many cultures have seen the moon as a feminine deity, imbued with the power of creation and life cycles. We can look to the moon as grandmother moon and can tap into this energy by connecting with the moon and embracing our creative power and the strength of the feminine energy. You don't have to be female to connect with this feminine energy. We all have masculine and feminine energy, and we can take advantage of those times in the month that this energy is more available to us. Another area is reflection and introspection. The moon's reflective surface also makes it a powerful symbol for reflection and introspection. Just as the moon reflects the sun's light, we too can reflect on our inner light and the areas of ourselves that need healing, those areas that we reflect outward into the world. By connecting with the moon and engaging in self-reflection, we really can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. The moon also shows us a cyclical nature of life and personal growth, those areas that we can evolve. The moon's phases show and teach us the nature of life and personal growth, from the dark of the new moon, where you plant seeds, to the bright light of the full moon, where we harvest. We can see our growth and transformation of our journey. What seeds are we casting? What are we nurturing? What are we harvesting and replanting again? So by connecting with the moon during different phases of its cycle, we can align ourselves with the natural world's rhythm and embrace the process of change and transformation. Now, the symbolism the moon has of light and shadow within oneself, the moon's interplay of light and shadow can also represent the duality within ourselves. We all have light and dark aspects. We all can find balance and wholeness by embracing both. And connecting with the moon's symbolism of light and shadow allows us to embrace all aspects of ourselves and find inner peace. There is neither wrong in one or the other, but there is balance when we understand. The moon teaches us about transformation and renewal. The moon's waxing and waning cycle represents the constant transformation and renewal process. And by connecting with the moon's energy, we can embrace change and find the courage to let go of what no longer serves us. We can find emotional balance. The moon is often associated with emotions, particularly with the ebb and flow of our feelings. And by tuning into the moon's energy, we can find emotional balance and learn to navigate our emotions with grace and mindfulness. And the moon shows us spiritual enlightenment. The moon is seen as a gateway to spiritual enlightenment in many cultures. And by meditating on the moon's energy and opening ourselves up to its guidance, we can deepen our spiritual practice and better understand the universe. Manifestation. The moon is often seen as a powerful time for manifestation and setting intentions, releasing and harvesting and making room for new. We can manifest our desires, harvest and bring our dreams into reality by harnessing the moon's energy during this time. And the moon reminds us of mystery and magic. The moon's mysterious and otherworldly energy has long been associated with magic and mystery. If you've ever watched a full moon with clouds that shroud over the front, it has this mysterious, mystical feeling. And by connecting with the moon's energy, we can tap into the magic within ourselves and embrace the unknown with wonder and curiosity. This lunar energy, the moon's energy, is said to have a powerful influence on our physical and emotional well-being. The moon's energy impacts the tides of water on Earth, and humans have billions of cells that all contain water. In fact, our bodies are 65 to 70% water. The moon's movement will physically impact the energy of the body. By tuning into the moon's energy, we can align our bodies and minds with the natural rhythms of the universe. I find that if you have certain body issues or aches and pains or things that maybe you haven't dealt with, during a full moon, the cellular structure and the pressure from the moon and the tides will show you where in your body you might need to address something. And of course, the moon reminds us about the connection to ancestors. In many cultures, the moon is seen as a symbol of ancestral wisdom and guidance. The illumination of the moon can be seen as a way for us to align to our path. In many cultures, the moon is called Grandmother Moon in all her wisdom and awe. Let the full moon illuminate your path, shining light on those areas that need attention, or perhaps we have lost focus on those areas, and the moon simply helps remind us where we need to come back into alignment, where we get to focus externally or internally. It is that compass on our path, and the moon reminds us of where we may be off path. Navigating with the moon energy helps keep us aligned. There is a sureness to the energy of the moon, a reminder that above and within, all are the same, and we are connected. By connecting with the energy of the moon, we can tap into the wisdom of our ancestors and honor their legacy in our own lives. So what is this full moon hangover? What are the symptoms? Well, feeling exhausted. Probably the most common full moon hangover symptom is exhaustion. With the strong emotional energy messing with our cellular structure, this often drains us, not only emotionally, but mentally, physically, and spiritually, as well as making us extra tired. Our physical bodies might be working extra hard during this time. The trouble is we usually have a harder time sleeping with full moons. We're tossing and turning all night long, and every problem we think we have might roll through our minds on this repeat play. We might experience negative emotions. Another full moon hangover symptom is being a little bit more negative and subjective than we normally are. We can get stuck in our emotions, and this prevents us from seeing a bigger picture. It's all just bad, and we want to throw the towel in. We might have a fit or complain or create drama. Speaking of which, that's another full moon hangover symptom, is having emotional outbursts, not having the compass regulated to slow down, pause, remember peace and calm. This tends to be more of a problem with the things that have already been moving to the top or moving to the surface, and we've been pushing them down or pushing them out of the way. And the full moon is just showing us this is what needs to be addressed right now. If anything's been shoved away, that can come bursting out with this full moon energy. We can get emotional and get so stuck in that we don't see anything outside of our own perspective. We definitely need to take a step back and not give in to the desire to blow steam, get frustrated, or get angry. This is a time to breathe. This is a time during full moon to slow down, to rest, to have those practices that keep you aligned. And how do we do that? Well, rest. Rest is incredibly important. So make sure you are getting plenty of sleep. If you are having difficulty time sleeping at night, maybe a nap or even a 5-minute closing your eyes where you can just shut the world away. Lay down, close your eyes, shut off your brain for a few minutes. Whenever you can squeeze it in, take a break. Comfort and familiarity can go a long way. You may want to stick to the people who support you best and the places that feel most comfortable. Stepping outside of your comfort zone might just add to your emotions or additional stress, especially if it's during the water full moons. If you are unsure of the best ways to comfort yourself, look to your natal moon. That will show you what you need for emotional stability. If you are really overwhelmed by emotions, you likely need to dig deeper inside of yourself to find the root cause, because it's probably not whatever external stuff is triggering you. The homework during a full moon is illuminate, get to your core, face the real problems, Allow the illumination of the full moon to show you what maybe has been hidden. Initially, facing the real problem might increase your emotional energy even more, but once you get through that initial stage, you can work through and gain understanding and finally put some of this behind you. Bigger problems may take some time, a lot longer than just a few weeks, but you can build on your progress throughout the entire year. This is also a time to heal those inner child wounds, those ancestral wounds, those wounds that maybe you shoved away earlier in your life. Abundant emotions will come to the surface if you allow them during your full moon. And a full moon hangover may also show you what is unhealthy for you and what truly needs to be released. They are excellent for clearing energetically. Also, don't forget to hydrate. Give the body extra water so it can move with the tides of the moon. Get in water, swim, bathe, wherever possible. Connect with water more at this time. It's often at this point that people ask me why they can't seem to be able to release. They do a release ceremony every single full moon of the year and still are holding on to certain things in their life. This is simply the universe saying, if you have not released it, then you really haven't done the work. Go inside, go internal. Spend the time to assess what you're feeling and what the moon is showing you. Do that work. Every moon has a purpose. Don't get frustrated thinking that you haven't been doing the work. It might be that you just need to go deeper in doing that work. The past is also likely weighing more heavily on all of us this year, but past is only to teach us about us and about what we might need to do to help us propel into the future. We are not to live in the past, but to learn from it. I love the full moon. I love the energy of the moon, even though sometimes I don't sleep well. And the best things that you can do for you during full moon is getting lots of rest, sticking to your comfort zone, not being afraid to poke around into the root causes of what might be making you emotional. Do some cleansing rituals in water, detoxing, anything that might clear your energy. Work on the foundation of your goals. Clear the path so that you can plant new seeds. Think about how to expand your goals and what you can look forward to at the next new moon. Understand what you're feeling and why. Don't be afraid to look, and don't be afraid or hesitant to connect to your subconscious. Make some notes of what you need to do during this full moon. Note what the universe may be illuminating for you. We often are at the time of the full moon and we forget that it is a perfect time to release those things that need to be released, that we're shown what needs to be released. If we don't know, this is where the universe will show us the shadow, the hidden parts, or those aspects of what we do need to work on. This is a time during a full moon that will have an understanding or have more energy to process or heal through things. I'm not saying this is a simple time, but it certainly is an opportune time to do this work. And understanding that healing through it is actually releasing it. Not being afraid to look at the inner child wounds, the ancestral wounds. This is the time to look to the moon energy to help illuminate and show you what is left to be done. Or sometimes you have already done the work and the moon is showing you a new path or an extension to your path. Maybe it is a new road that you have never seen, but now you can see it because you have healed your past. You are at a point today in your life to get on that road, and this is the universe aligning you. I'm Laurie Wondra of Your Life Core, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Messages from the Universe. For information about Laurie Wondra's current events or to schedule a private session, visit her website, yourlifecore.com. You can also subscribe to her monthly newsletter Laurie also shares inspirational and informational messages on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening.